What's going on, everybody? This is Raw Dog Sports. I am Mike. That is Evo. I'm not leaving. That's right, baby. We are on Ball Street today. We're going to talk stocks up, stocks down. What teams are you buying? What teams are you selling? I'm excited to talk about all of this today because I know there's going to be some teams that we agree on, some teams we disagree on. But my guy, Evo, welcome in, brother. How you doing? How you been? I feel like it's been a few days since we spoke.
Doing good. Actually, truth be told, I'm fucking struggling hard right now because your boy hasn't had any of his sweet, sweet tobacco in over a fucking week, and I want to yank my dick off. I'm trying to get the better half to also quit with the vaping.
Nice.
She has not quit with the vaping, but I've gone essentially cold turkey. And by cold turkey, I mean I still have nicotine because I'm cool with nicotine because I think it's good for you. But I have not had tobacco in over a week, and I fucking hate it. But obviously it's good for me. So yeah, I'm struggling because of that. I wasn't doing good.
All right. You were not doing. Yeah, I understand losing the nicotine and how that would be very, very difficult. I went through that at one point when I got in that car accident. Like a month before that, I had quit chewing, and it was one of the hardest things that I was doing. Then the car accident made it really simple. I was like, oh, I don't want to chew at all. I just want to not hurt. So pain pills were on the menu.
Your boy's chewing a lot of gum right now. And more recently, it's been Nicorette gum. Could be a sponsor, but isn't. And for the past 2 days, I haven't been chewing Nicorette gum just because I didn't buy anymore. So it's been regular gum. And then, lo and behold, today at work, I found 2 pieces of my Nicorette gum in my little work bag. Popped those. Insane head rush. Felt like I was fucking drunk sitting at my computer. I was like, whoa. Oh, this is great. But yeah.
I don't know that I miss nicotine at all, man. Like every once in a while, I'm like, that kind of sounds like it could be nice. Then again, I'm like, I don't think that I really want to do that at all, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, like I said, I'm not, I do enjoy tobacco. Specifically chewing tobacco for many reasons. And I disassociate the fact that there's nicotine between it, even though I know that's the addictive substance. I personally have my views on nicotine itself and how it is good for your body in many ways. And that's why I don't want to stop that, because I'm all about biohacking, baby. I got to find ways to level up.
Finding ways to level up. I mean, you were the one that put me on to like, hey, nicotine is actually good for you mentally. I'm sure the people at the cigarette counter are like, oh yeah, sell that some more. I'm not advocating smoking anything, no matter what it is. But nicotine has been shown to increase, some mental function when it's used properly.
It can help to stave off dementia and Alzheimer's a little bit. It's also a very powerful, pain reliever for spot locations. So you can cut up little patches, and put them on pain points, and it actually works better than some regular over-the-counter orally ingested pain medications. So there's good benefits. There's good things out there, of course, but this isn't a show sponsored by Philip Morris or anything like that.
It's not. We are not sponsored by Philip Morris or anybody for that fact. We are sponsored by the good people that do tune into this show. Thank you, everybody who does tune in. You're going to hear me say at the end, time is the most valuable thing that you have. So appreciate you guys stopping in. If you are new, though, hit that subscribe button real quick while you're here. I mean, it would mean a great deal to us. Producer Amber, I would love if you would check the private chat because I don't know where my phone is either. But with that, my man, are we ready to start diving into some football news and all the things that are going on in the NFL? Because a couple of small stories, I mean, maybe big stories depending on who you're a fan of. Let's start with the Rashee Rice news, which is very new. Just kind of breaking within the last couple of hours here. We learned that he has the knee injury, and he gets the surgery, and then we find out that, oh shit, now he's tested positive for marijuana in violation of his probation. He's got to do 30 days in jail. And we're kind of talking this through a little bit before the show, and you kind of let me onto the fact that he knew that this was probably in the pipeline. So this story is insane. Evo, break this down in a little bit more detail because you had to let me on to some of this as the show was kicking off. So
Yeah. So obviously the 30-day suspension, he was already on probation. Despite your thoughts on the use of recreational lettuce on probation, not allowed to, and knew that this potential suspension, or not suspension, excuse me, this potential time in jail was coming down the pipeline. But 1 week prior to being, given this 30-day jail stint, he underwent a cleanup surgery on his right knee, according to Adam Schefter, to remove some loose debris that was causing inflammation, and is now expected to sideline him for up to 2 months, sources were told. The thing that's interesting is he did undergo this surgery last week in Dallas, but he did it knowing that he would probably be sentenced for 30 days in jail after violating those probation terms. And now he has to go to jail while trying to rehab this knee. He'll be unable to get the type of medical attention and rehab that could have expedited his return from his recent knee surgery, according to Schefter. Rice is still expected to be ready for training camp later this summer, but he is also facing the uncertainty of having to recover while in jail. So,
crazy.
Professional athletes obviously get the best treatment from their team, from the doctors, XYZ. It's why you see some guys go and recover from these injuries extremely quick. You would expect that he is probably in line to get that sort of treatment, whether it's pretty constant physical therapy, having doctors that he can call at any moment. Anyone who's had a surgery, you can, a lot of times nowadays, message your surgeon on a portal or something like that, and they'll get back to you in 3 to 5 business days to be like, all right. Not with professional athlete. They can have someone on the phone there with them. They can be in the facility getting checked out constantly, having all the latest and greatest types of treatments done to accelerate the rehab process. Well, he's not going to get that now. Or at least not for the foreseeable 30 days, because he's going to be in jail, and that's just not something that he's going to have access to. Not to mention, having never spent time in jail, I guess I don't want to talk out of pocket here, but it's not always the friendliest location. You could get into scuffles. Any number of things could happen. They aren't there to make your life easy. They're just holding you. So there's a potential that this could worsen the injury, increase that rehab time. Yes, he's expected to be ready for training camp, but maybe he's not going to be 100% by then when he could have been. Or worst case, this could possibly further worsen the injury. And maybe he isn't able to come back on time. It's another step in the whole thing with Rashee Rice's career where, a lot of talent seems to be there, but all these other issues are just getting in the way of that talent making it onto the field.
Yeah, he's starting to kind of go, feels like that Josh Gordon route, and that sucks because Josh Gordon had a ton of talent, supreme talent. I thought Rashee Rice was kind of one of those guys that could be incredible if he was able to put it all together, but he just can't stay out of trouble, man. And as somebody who maybe has spent a couple of days in jail, Yeah, that is not a place where you want to have a knee that you're recovering surgery from. So it's a wild scenario. Like, why would he do this? It makes no sense to me. It hurts his playing chances. I don't like this move. The team has got to be fucking furious, and completely understandable if they are. This hurts this Chiefs team that we thought was, going to be getting quite a bit better. At least I thought they were going to be getting quite a bit better. They were kind of on the rise in my mind, especially with the way that they were going to attack the run game, which that will still be there. But losing a weapon like Rashee Rice hurts that passing game because Travis Kelce is still an older tight end at this point. Like, he's on his last legs. So,
yeah. And look, Rashee Rice is still on. I mean, he's in the last year, I believe, of his rookie contract. So while he's making obviously good money compared to what the average civilian is, he's still not making a ton yet. And so this is a time that he should be trying to put his best foot forward, get healthy, stay out of trouble, so that way you can earn that next contract. Because I don't know if you've looked at wide receiver contracts recently, but they're fucking huge. Guys are getting absolutely fucking paid. And he has the opportunity to get into some of that. Obviously, it's going to be negated a little bit by his injury history and his off the field stuff, but still, he needs to be focused on trying to earn that fucking bag. Now, my thoughts, and it's very speculative, very tinfoil hatty, but maybe this is an intentional thing to have the surgery when he did, so that way, if he goes into jail and things don't go well and his rehab is thrown off, then he can try to sue the jail after the fact, or the state, or whatever it is, for impacting his NFL career, so on and so forth. So that would be kind of my tinfoil hat theory with it. Who knows if that is really something worth trying to attempt to work out as an avenue. But
right.
Who knows,
well, listen, if he's going to get suspended again, right? He's going to jail for breaking probation. You got to think that he's getting suspended again, right? It's a bad look for the Shield.
Yeah.
Conduct detrimental will be 2 games, but it's still a suspension. And after so many times, like, how many chances are you going to get? Now, if he's incredibly supremely talented, I mean, he'll get a lot of chances. But can he stay on the field? We don't know. We've seen him hurt the last couple of times he's been out there. This is a really bad setup for the rest of his career. And I think that this decision was just poor. I don't have another way of saying it without just belaboring the man. So this is a bad decision, man.
Yeah.
But let's talk good decisions.
Okay.
The draft. It's going to be in Minnesota. You love the idea of the draft being in Minnesota. We actually have some friends that are totally against it. I want you to tell me why the draft in Minnesota in 2028 is going to be awesome and why we should be going there. Because I'm going to be having an opportunity to talk to Tank tomorrow and ask why the hell they don't want to go. So,
look, yes, I am biased. I'm from Minnesota. I am biased. But I can tell you this. The US Bank Stadium is phenomenal. Downtown Minneapolis is fantastic. But the surrounding suburbs, which allow you access basically down to the stadium within 30 minutes from any direction around the suburbs, are very unique in their own kind of borough type of ways. But also very gorgeous, very nice living, comfortable. If there's a fear that Minneapolis and Minnesota is somehow like Green Bay, off base. Is there cold weather? Sure, but there's cold weather anywhere. There could have been cold weather in Pittsburgh for us this year. But also April can be nice. It can be decent. But let's say there is some bad weather. Minneapolis is prepared for it. Instead of Green Bay, where they just expect you to get in bed with your sister to get warm. In Minneapolis, we have skyways that connect every building, so that way you don't even have to step outside. You're able to be indoors the entire time. When the Super Bowl was there, they had Radio Row inside Mall of America, one of the larger malls in the U.S. Yes, we have a theme park in the middle of the mall. And apparently, according to the media, it was outstanding having it there at Mall of America. There is a light rail which connects the stadium and Mall of America. And the light rail, I believe, also goes by the Vikings practice facility, which is one of the more state-of-the-art practice facilities in the NFL, which will also be part of hosting the draft. I love it for the city. I think it's awesome. It's cool that they're getting to go to all these different spots. So I'm excited for Minnesota and downtown Minneapolis to be showcased again. There was an issue with the Super Bowl being there in Minnesota. One, it was cold, and people don't like dealing with that cold, and I completely get it. That sucks. But also, Lyft and Uber were having issues with the city and possibly being banned there because, unfortunately, some of the politics in Minnesota just are not great. There's no way else to put it. Like, the political structure in Minnesota seems to be doing its best to try to tear itself down in many ways. And they almost tanked their Super Bowl because Lyft and Uber were like being banned because I think money, let's just be real, money. But those entities were still able to operate. The Super Bowl went on without a hitch. It was great for the city. I love it. I would love to go out there, get to see my neck of the woods a little bit, get to show off my neck of the woods, have some walleye and some other good, fish and things like that, some Minnesota style dishes. I think it could be a fantastic experience, a really, really fun time. But of course, I am biased. And so we have until 2028 to figure this out, whether or not we will be up there in the Great North.
Well, listen, man, I hope we go. I've never been up to Minnesota, so I think it would be a really cool trip. I don't know anything about Minneapolis. Mall of America sounds like it would be dope. I like things. I don't necessarily like things, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not a person that just buys random shit. All of this stuff behind me, I did not buy. It was given to me, and I'm very grateful for those things, but they're just things. They just sit there. It's cool. But I think the Mall of America and having a fucking amusement park inside of it would be a cool spectacle to see. Just the fucking sheer size of this thing is what I would be impressed by, because the fact that there's an amusement park in there is absurd.
Yeah. It's also, any store you want, almost any restaurant you want, from, a McDonald's all the way to like a nice fancy sit-down restaurant, all located within or connected on the outside. It's a great time, great experience. You can spend an entire day in that mall and not see everything. So, for people who are looking to experience downtown Minnesota, Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, St. Paul and Minneapolis, it's definitely something worth doing. And it's right outside the airport. Look, I think that we could absolutely find our way into a lot of fun if we're up there for the draft.
Yeah, I think we should absolutely.
It is not Green Bay. There's not like it's not a tiny town with nothing to do.
That was the main issue that you took with everything that was being said, I'm sure, was that they compared it to Green Bay, and you're like, nope, fuck that. I'm not having that.
Look, we are not into let's see here, bestiality. We're not into hooking up with relatives. We need to build a wall, Mike. We need to build a wall between Minnesota and Wisconsin. We need a wall.
Oh man. Good stuff.
And there will be rat lines under that wall just for cheese curds. But that's about it.
Cheese curds, yeah, dude, listen, cheese curds are the greatest thing that's come out of Wisconsin probably ever. Culver's fucking slaps as well. They're custard bangs.
Gives me the poopies.
I could see that for sure. Now I did bring it up. I am going to be able to see Tank tomorrow. I'm going to do a little cross promotion here. I'm going to have an opportunity to go and be on radio with Tank Spencer of Sportsocracy. We'll be on ESPN Asheville. Very excited for an opportunity to go be on radio again. filling in for Jeremy Green, who has got a lot of things going on. Very honored that he asked me to fill in his seat. Hopefully, I come correct. But I'm gonna go.
My man's gonna come.
That's right, baby.
He's gonna come.
Oh man! All right, so I'm excited for that. I appreciate those guys. One other piece of news before we get into stocks up, stocks down. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a starting quarterback. His name is Aaron Rodgers. I think everybody knew this was coming at some point. Do we care? Do we make anything of McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers getting back together? Will there be some sort of chemistry that they can make something work? Because listen, their offensive weapons got better in my mind. I just don't know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to make it work. Everything had to be quick game last year. Is that going to change this year? I don't know, man. Does it move you at all? I know that you hate Aaron Rodgers. I want to hear your opinion.
No,
that he's back again.
He's bad. Like, I would much rather, as a Steelers fan, go out there with a Will Howard or a Drew Aller and see what I got. Because at best, you find out that you've got a player in one of those two guys. That not necessarily even a starter, but someone that can be a backup or something like that. At best. At worst, you have a really bad year and you're in a much better position to get a quarterback that's worthwhile. What good does it do for you as a franchise to continually throw in milquetoast quarterback play that's not going to elevate you, but it just keeps you floating above right in that middle of the draft range?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the point? You're wasting money on good players who are aging out. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to continue going down that path because Aaron Rodgers is not good. He has a floor that he's sitting at, and that floor allows you to have a quarterback that can go out and run your offense, but he's not good. He doesn't elevate. And so it's not going to all of a sudden somehow make your offense good. I don't know. Like, it seems like they're just destined for that near 500 season again because they're not willing to shit or get off the pot. Like, and this is the year to do it with the quarterbacks coming down the pipeline, you know. But there's a number of other.
This would be a great year to be bad.
Yeah, there's a number of other quarterbacks who are going to provide you at least the level of play that Aaron Rodgers is going to provide you, albeit probably at a cheaper contract because they paid him it's up to $25 million for this year with incentives. I think it's $23 million with incentives up to $25 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take a Ryan Tannehill over that.
I don't know about Tannehill at this point.
Fuck yeah, I would, because Tannehill's not good. Guess who else isn't good? Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And Tannehill's going to be half the fucking price, except for
true.
Tannehill's probably more fucking mobile, and he might be able to throw it further. Like, there's a bunch of guys I would rather have over Aaron Rodgers, and it's not just because I hate Rodgers; it's just because he's limited. Don't get me wrong; I'm sure he's got a lot of stuff going on in between the years.
For sure.
Not all good stuff. But he's got a lot of experience. But it doesn't matter if you can't put it to use on the field and if you're just going to bitch and complain when fucking you get like dapped up by your own guys and shit. So, I don't know. The whole toxic situation that we looked at potentially being there last year is absolutely still on the table.
100%. All right, let's get off of that. We got our guy in here, Derpy. What's going on, brother? Absolutely. Let's go, Cavs. Fucking let them know, baby. 7-game series. Apparently, that's what we do. I hope that we win the next series. I don't want it to go 7 games, but as long as we keep winning the series, I don't give a shit how many games they play. I'm not the athlete, though, so I'm sure they'd love to win 1 and 4 and just, get a little rest. But, hey, Cavs, baby. I'm Donovan Mitchell. Just absolutely lights out, dude. This is not a basketball show. I am not a ball knower by any means. I called color commentary for women's college basketball. I was way out of my element. That is not my expertise. But man, I know that Donovan Mitchell is playing out of his fucking mind right now. Some of the best basketball that is happening all across the NBA. Now, I don't think anybody can outdo what Victor Wembanyama is doing because he's an absolute goddamn freak.
Look, I'll say this. I don't care who wins the finals this year as long as it isn't the Spurs or OKC Thunder. Because I personally, as not a huge basketball fan, am absolutely embarrassed by the bullshit floppery fest that is going on between Wembanyama and SGA. It's gotten worse for Wembanyama as we've gone through the playoffs. It's like he learned, my alien body can fake and flail. The stuff that's happening where people are just
see it. It's like a wacky wailing inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Oh my God. It's so embarrassing to the NBA. How can you be proud of this? Oh, wait, let's just make him the fucking MVP, SGA. Let's do it again, where you're getting a majority of your points off of fucking fake acting free throws. It's so stupid.
There we go.
Let's
get everybody riled up real quick before we start doing stocks.
Neither of those fucking two teams deserve it because they are fucking shams. It is ungodly, embarrassing basketball.
So what I just heard was go Cavs.
Cavs or Knicks?
No, I heard go Cavs.
Sure.
All right. Oh, all right, man. Let's get into some NFL stock. I don't want to call it the NFL Stock Exchange because that's definitely copyright infringement, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. That's a different show completely.
100%.
And love that show.
Great show. But we are going to do, I guess, something kind of similar. We're going to talk teams that we like, that we would buy stock in, and teams that we would be selling our stock in. Now, depending on what kind of investor you are, it may dictate if you are buying or selling stock on a team. All that we asked each other to do was make sure that we could justify why we were buying or selling the stock. And we'll see which way each one of us kind of go. So I got 4 buys. I had 5, but I cut one of my buys out. And I got 5 sells.
All right. I just kept it to an easy 3-3.
Okay.
And I got to be honest with you. It's way easier for me to sell on these teams than it is for me to buy on a lot of teams.
That's why I had to cut one of my buys.
Yeah. All right. So you want to go back and forth with this as far as buys and sells and who's talking, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, so let's actually go back and forth. What I want to do here, though, I want to make sure that everybody can hear these sound effects that I got and that they play.
I'm hearing your phone vibrate.
Did you guys hear
it's
that?
your actual vibrator.
Well, that was my phone. I don't know if these play through. That stinks.
Nah, not hearing it.
Can you hear this? No? I'm assuming you guys couldn't hear that. All right. Well, never mind. We will just go back and forth. I wanted this to be a lot cooler with the sound effects. It's not going to be.
All right. All right. You want me to go first or you want to go first, Mike?
You know what? I will go first. I'm going to start with a buy. The team that I am buying. I'm buying the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay. Hey, there's some sounds.
The fuck? Where?
Background. Nice. Producer Amber in the background making shit happen. I like it. So, the Chargers. This is a team that won 11 games last year already. Okay. Herbert has kind of stepped up and proven that he's one of those top 10 quarterbacks. There are question marks about can he win the big game, but this team last year was able to win 11 with an absolutely decimated offensive line, a defense that was beat up all year, and then they went out and attacked the offensive line. They're getting healthier there. They go out, they get future replacements and rotational players behind Khalil Mack and Akeem Leatherhead Mesidor. So this team is a team that just by getting healthier, in my mind, is already trending upwards. The only question I have is, can Herbert win the big game? Listen, he hasn't done much of anything in the playoffs at all. Like, it's not been great. If I can buy them now, while you still have the Chiefs with Mahomes, and they still think that, I'm sure people still think that team's going to have a chance to win. I think the Chargers win this division. They go from a team that could be good, that was kind of good until injuries got them, to a team that actually just runs away with this division. Because I think that the Chiefs, while they will be better, won't be spectacular. I can see the Broncos taking a step back, and the Raiders are still a long ways away. So I'm going to buy stock here because, listen, this is already a high stock price because the Chargers are already good. But I think they can win the division, and there's potential with the way this team is now constructed and the depth that they could make a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're one of my buy teams as well. So that makes that easier.
Hell yeah, it does.
But I've got a couple other points that I think will also help. Now, one thing that you brought up there was they had how many wins last year? 11. And right now, if we're just looking at pure gambling, their FanDuel over-under win total is 9.5. So just if they match what they did last year, you're hitting the over there, which is obviously a nice little gambling buy to it. But the biggest thing for me with this team, outside of the injuries, which you brought up, and they have reloaded injury-wise as far as like getting some depth there, specifically on that offensive line, the biggest thing to me is going to be this run game. Harbaugh loves to have a running attack. We got to see them move away from it a little bit last year, and how Herbert not only can be a good running quarterback, but also can have a pretty outstanding arm when he needs to. But that all kind of broke down when the injuries occurred. And I still think that the passing game is obviously going to be necessary and pretty good with this team. But Harbaugh is going to want it to be run first. And the moves that they made this offseason are signaling that. Their new offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel, didn't do a whole lot great in Miami. But what he did do was have a very fucking interesting run game, one that made Raheem Mostert a top 4 running back at one point in time.
Dude, he was insane.
Devon Achane, who is obviously extremely talented, has looked really good down there. But we got Omari and Hampton, who was out a decent part of the year last year, but coming into the second year in the NFL, looks to be one of the better height, weight, speed type of running backs out there. We barely got to see his potential last year. You do have a nice change of pace guy and a Kamani Vidal there. But Omari and Hampton's capability in this offense with Mike McDaniel as that offensive coordinator, a retooled offensive line that brought in Cole Strange, Tyler Biadasz, drafted Jake Slaughter. Like, you're getting your bookend tackles back who are outstanding. Oh, and then they go out and they bring in Alex Ingold, who was one of the set pieces for that Mike McDaniel offense. Like, I think that they are going to have kind of a scary run game that is going to allow Justin Herbert to feast, going to Quentin Johnson, who has obviously a role now and really grew a whole lot. Lad McConkey, who is a fantastic slot-style receiver. Trey Harris, we didn't see as much from, but obviously they're pretty high on him. My guy, fucking Aronde Gadsden at tight end, showed out last year.
David Njoku added to that room as well.
Njoku being in there, which is only going to help with that running attack and receiving attack. But also, I do think, because we haven't heard anything yet, I think Keenan Allen's going to be back there as well as a receiving option. And don't sleep on the fact that as like a number 2 receiver there, he's pretty fucking solid still.
He's going to catch the fucking ball and get you a first down.
Absolutely. So that's the thing, is I think they had to lean too much on their passing game last year because of injuries. But when they're able to have the set piece be the run game and open up the pass for them, like that's going to be extremely dangerous. So as long as the injury bug doesn't hit, I fully expect them to at least do what they did last year. They're at least in that 11-win category, but I think they can obviously go a lot further.
Yeah, agreed, man. All right, so go ahead and you hit me with a buy stock this time, and we'll see if I match or if I can just expand on it.
With a stock to buy?
Yeah, or you can go with me a sell stock if you want. Give me a stock, bro.
All right. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. All right. Now, this one, I'm buying. I'm buying the Saints stock. Now, it's not like a hard buy yet, but this is an invest, get in on it early right here because the NFC South kind of fucking sucks. All right. We saw a lot of good things from the Saints team last year, but they really weren't able to start to put it all together. I don't think anyone really expected the Saints to be a good team last year. Mm-hmm. But by the end of the season, you could kind of see the vision. You could kind of see what their coaching staff was putting together there. They've added guys like Jordan Tyson to go along Olave, which all of a sudden makes that receiving group kind of fucking scary. If Shuck is able to take another step into year 2 where he started to look like a pretty average NFL starting quarterback by the end of last year, and you get to mix in Travis Etienne into that run game. I have some questions about the offensive line, but getting David Edwards in there is solid. I don't think that this team needs to be spectacular to win the NFC South. They just have to keep trending the way that they were last year. The moves that they made this offseason, I think were all pretty smart. They weren't leaps and bounds like game changing, but they didn't step on their crank. And I feel like the NFC South, a lot of people either stepped on their crank or didn't do anything to really move the needle that much. This team doesn't need to do a whole lot other than stay on the standard progression that they have been in order for them to take over the NFC South, essentially. The Buccaneers are hanging on by a thread. It seems like they're a Baker injury away from completely falling into anonymity. This division is ripe for the taking. And the Saints showed, despite their low win total last year, that they're ready to do it.
Yeah. So this will be easy because the Saints are also one of my buy teams. And a lot of the things you said I'm going to reiterate, but the names I'm going to make sure that we actually talk about, like Jordan Tyson, you brought up, like that's a great get. If he stays healthy, him and Olave is awesome. But they also get Etienne, and they improve that offensive line and getting David Edwards. That helping stop some of that interior pressure will give Shuck more time. Shuck is a guy that we're always worried about. What's going to happen when he gets pressured? Is he going to do crazy things like we've seen him do in the past? So improving that offensive line is another big thing that needed to happen. And you brought up, this division is ass, right? Well, on top of that, the Saints have the second easiest strength of schedule in the NFL coming up. So their schedule is tailor-made for them to take a step forward in a weak-ass division. Like, I'm buying stock here, and they could only win 10 games. They might only fucking win 9 games and win the division.
I was going to say, last year they won 6 games. If they had won 9 games, they would have won the division completely. Everyone else is 8 and 9.
I buy. Listen, I'm going to buy a team that is kind of down here, hoping I can just get a nice little hit with a division title, and they'll get bounced out of the playoffs in the first round. That's where my mind's at. I'm trying to like Jordan Belfort this shit. Stocks up, down. Like, I want to buy these guys because I feel like I can make a quick buck off the Saints this year. They could have a nice little uptick, and then eventually somebody will maybe figure out how to consistently win that division, because every year it's a new division winner.
Yeah, it seems like no one can figure their shit out.
Nobody in that division is good.
I've loved trashing the Saints for years, going back to Bountygate and all that stuff. But realistically, there's a very new kind of regime movement there. They've just been loading themselves up with debt for years, and they finally have taken the effort to get themselves out of that situation. And it's going to take a couple of years to really see dividends, but you're already starting to see how the grass is greener on the other side with this team. Again, 2 more wins, and they are matching the win totals for the rest of their division from last year. 2 more wins isn't a huge ask in this division for them to at least be right in the pack in the hunt. And so it makes a lot of sense that this could be one of those teams that makes a big jump divisionally this year. And look, the Saints were a scrappy team last year anyways. It's not like they were, let's be real. They weren't good. They were not good.
Well, no,
Kellen Moore is doing some good things with that team. They were scrappy, and I think they're going to be scrappy again this year.
Scrappy. I mean, that kind of is exactly what Kellen Moore is. They got the moxie down there. All right, let's move on to another buy. I'll lead here with the Washington Commanders. I'm buying Washington Commanders stock. I feel like the stock is probably pretty cheap right now, considering what happened last year. The defense last year was old. They struggled. Look, Bobby Wagner, love him. But Bobby was on his last legs, man. This defense got way younger, way more athletic. And I think the defense is going to take a huge uptick. And that's not even talking about their most important piece, getting back from injury in Jaden Daniels. My opinion, Jaden Daniels is the best young quarterback in the league. We saw what he did when he was healthy in his rookie year, takes his team to the NFC Championship game. I feel like that if he is healthy and plays all 17 games and that defense takes a step forward and they're not so porous, we could be talking potentially Jaden Daniels entering MVP conversations and another appearance at the NFC Championship game. I don't know if they can make it to the Super Bowl. Their running game, I still feel like needs some help. But Jaden Daniels back as a legitimate threat with his legs also improves that running game a bit. So I am buying Commander stock because right now I feel like it is probably relatively cheap. And what I think people imagine is going to be a tough and improved division, I think the Commanders are one of those teams that's actually really improved.
Yeah, I'm not as high on this Commanders team. I think that what we saw 2 years ago was people sleeping on them. And then last year they kind of had an idea of what, Jaden Daniels could be and could do. So you could almost see maybe a bit of a sophomore slump coming, but it doesn't even matter because the injury completely derailed him. I think there was very poor management of him in that injury towards the end of the year. Like, why were you playing him when everything was already done? So that bothers me a little bit. But it's going to be kind of twofold on this team. Is if Jaden Daniels is able to be out there, be healthy, you don't have a ton of pieces on this offense that really move the needle for me. But Jaden Daniels can make that shit happen, right? Look, their biggest offseason addition on offense, getting Chigakonkwo at tight end, doesn't move the needle for me. Not addressing the running back position other than bringing in Rashad White doesn't really, and Katron Allen, but it doesn't really move the needle for me.
See, I like the Chig signing. I think that helps them.
The Chigakonkwo? Yeah, but it doesn't move the needle for me. You're getting a replacement for what's his nuts that got his knee bent backwards. Ertz, yeah. Like Chig is younger and a little bit better receiver at this point, but it's not like super game changing for me. I am left lacking on this offense for needle movers. Other than that, like the defense, you have between 8 and 10 new faces that are going to be starting or huge pieces on this defense. That's a huge shakeup. They are trying to get younger on that defense. They were old. They got not necessarily younger, but they got a lot of new names in who are, a little bit.
Kalavon Chason getting there. Like that's a big get, I think. Mm-hmm. Like I really like what they did with their defense, especially at in the box. Like their linebacker core needed a complete fucking revamping, and that's exactly what they went out and did.
Yeah. I think that they could be good. I think it's wishful thinking to bring in that many new faces and expect it to gel. right away. We might start to see a little bit of that towards the end of the year, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, brother. So since you are not buying on the Commanders, who's your last buy team then?
Buying a different team from that division, the New York Giants. All right.
Okay.
I like the Harbaugh effect. Look, if you watch our show all last year, I've been banging the table like this Giants defense has a lot of talent there, and they're not putting it together. I like some of the offensive pieces that they got last year, but no one could fucking stay unconcussed or healthy. No good knees in this bitch. I like bringing in Harbaugh. I think that he runs a tight ship, a good organization, and he will get some of those things figured out. The defense is still absolutely stacked with very talented players all over the place. Obviously, losing that defensive tackle there in the middle hurts a lot. But like Harbaugh said, if guys don't want to be here, they don't want to be here, and we don't necessarily want them here. Getting that DJ Reader in is obviously not an upgrade, but he's a solid player, and you have a wealth of pass rush talent that I don't know how you can continue into the year with. Like, I hope Kayvon Thibodeau has like all of his bags packed, because the first time that a team needs a edge rush, like, he's got to be one of the higher guys on the list to get moved. Yeah. But you've got Arvell Reese now. You've got Tremaine Edmonds in the middle. You've got Abdul Carter there.
Well, and they've got Arvell slotted to play inside linebacker right now on their depth chart, according to ESPN.
Right. But Brian Burns, Arvell Reese, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter are going to be some weird fucking amoeba, with Tremaine Edmonds being probably like the only stable interior piece there. And Kayvon Thibodeau, I don't even know how you fucking mix that in. Like, we could see some sort of wild defensive assortments here that I don't know how it's going to work. But if Brian Flores has been able to make it work with weird amoeba defenses, I think that Harbaugh, being as good and smart of a coach as he is, can probably find a way to put these guys to use. The jump from last year to this year for the Giants, I think, could be relatively significant. Last year, New York Giants end the year with 4 wins. And that was with them barely being able to keep a consistent quarterback on the field. Jackson Dart did not start the year out as their starting quarterback, and things looked like ass. But now you've got Jackson Dart hopefully coming out there with a more stable coaching staff that will kind of get him in the reins a little bit more. Solid running back, hopefully coming back from injury. Like, I think things will gel a little bit more there. And we're going to see more than 4 wins from this team, just from the defense probably getting better from Harbaugh being there, and a little bit more organized team that he'll be bringing, other than the crazy shenanigans of Daboll there. I think this team has a lot talent-wise. They added good pieces in the draft, and I think that just having a smart head coach there is going to buy them a couple extra wins. And then you're talking about some of the more talented pieces on their team being a year older, i.e. Jackson Dart. Like, if they take that step, we could be going from an extra 2 wins this year to maybe up to 4 wins this year extra.
How many concussions has this guy had in the offseason from just banging his head off the wall?
0.
Are we sure?
Concussions don't count if you don't fucking see a doctor.
That's very true. That's the
or if you don't remember them.
That's right. Oh, man. Okay, so this is actually the team that I took off of my buy list. So I don't dislike the idea of buying them. I just couldn't get on all the way. I understand what you're saying. The defense is, there's a lot of pieces. I don't know how they fit together, because how the fuck do you play all those guys at the same time? And I felt like the offense is still missing a piece. Like, I know we got Scatterboo and Tyrone Tracy. I feel like that's good. Jackson Dart showed some signs. I felt like they needed another solid receiver. Now, they add Isaiah Likely, which obviously is a good piece. But I felt like the actual receiver position needed to be addressed and was not. And with I understand that tight end running games, those are good things for young quarterbacks. I got to see more out of Jackson Dart before I'm ready to buy stock in them. Like, I've seen some good things. I've seen him make some spectacular plays, but we've also seen him do some real boneheaded shit.
Yeah.
So sure. I'm like right middling. I'm like, I'm not going to touch that stock. I will watch it from afar and see how it goes. But that is the team that I took off.
Yeah, and look, I completely agree with you. Like, as much as I like Scadaboo, and I was a huge Tyrone Tracy proponent when he was coming out in the draft. Mm-hmm. I like that running back room. Neither of them stands out as like the guy to me. I mean, Scadaboo has the energy. White Boy's got the motion to be the guy, but he's also going to be dead in 3 years. So you need to have a succession plan for your draft pick from last year. RIP CTE. But I do agree they probably need more options in that receiving room. And they added guys, but again, none of them that really moved the needle for me. Darnell Mooney, once upon a time, looked to be like an ascending slot type of guy, gadgety like that, and then kind of fell off. Calvin Austin was a receiver in Pittsburgh last year. So who knows? Maybe he actually is okay. Maybe he is decent. But they didn't have a quarterback. And then Malachi Fields, I think, is a little bit overrated personally. But if you buy into some of the hype there, you think that he could find his way into being like a true number 2 style receiver. That is different than what Malik Neighbors is. And then Darius Slayton has obviously just been a reliable number 3 for him. So they got some of those options there. I think that Isaiah Likely brings that different dimension as far as a receiving tight end for them to go along with Theo Johnson. And then they also Harbaugh brings with him the motherfucking hammer, Patrick Ricard at fullback. He's a fun fucking dude. So you know that they're going to be trying to have some smash mouth stuff happening in the running game, which, obviously I love. I love a good fullback, man.
Yeah, Patrick Ricard and Cam Scadaboo are going to get along fucking great.
Yeah. The fact that the Raiders for their schedule release video did the Step Brothers, and somehow the Giants didn't do that with Scadaboo and Patrick Ricard. Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
You like hitting things? Yup. You like hitting things? Yup. There's them running through fucking plywood and shit.
Yeah, that would have been pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. So I have one more buy team and to wrap this up. And this one is an interesting one. It's my long play. I'm buying the Jets. And it's not because they're going to necessarily do much this year. Buy and hold investment, baby. This roster is super young. They just had one of the most spectacular drafts that we can remember in recent history, right? In terms of guys that we really liked and people that we think could be long-term players for that organization. They have 3 first-round picks next year. So they basically have control of the entire fucking draft. If it doesn't work out this year, which I'm assuming they really don't want it to work out this year with Geno Smith, they're going to be excited. I'm buying this stock knowing that it's probably going to take a dip. But I want to get in on this stock now before everybody else starts fucking buying it. Because if these draft picks work the way I think that they're going to work, with the ammunition they have going forward, if they pick the right fucking quarterback, this Jets team next year could be completely flipped around, especially with the progress that these young guys are making. Because that wide receiver room, incredibly young, talented fucking group of guys, in my mind, could be spectacular pulling the trigger with Adonai Mitchell, fucking Garrett Wilson, and then you add a guy like a Debo clone that gives a completely different type of receiver, that it makes you so dynamic. So I'm long-term buying the Jets. And here's the thing, like their stock can't really drop much more than it is right fucking now because they're the Jets. So yeah, I'm gonna buy the Jets.
That's the scary thing for me with this Jets team is that I agree pretty much most of everything that they did this offseason, I feel like was good, correct moves for the long-term future, which is how they should be looking at this, the long-term future, because their future doesn't start until after the 2027 draft. You need to hit on the quarterback. They go into that draft with 3 first-round picks, which gives you the flexibility to find that quarterback. But the easiest way to get the quarterback you want is to be the worst team in the league. One of those 3 first-round picks is theirs. Who are the other 2 first-round picks that they have? Where are they from?
I'd have to check. I don't remember.
If you're able to do that and try to find it for me, because that's
Yep.
It's obviously a bit of a gamble to hope for other teams' success or failure. You understand that with Jacksonville and their pick this year that you had. You know, you were actively rooting for Jacksonville to fail, but then they had themselves up and coming season, right? So it's tough to root for that for other teams because you really don't know. It's completely out of your hands. Was it the Colts, or was it Colts first round pick this year? One of them.
So they have got the Colts and the Cowboys.
All right. Well, I think that Cowboys could be a pretty good team this year, and the Colts might be a middling to decent team if they get a good Daniel Jones back from last year. So that sucks a little bit. If the Jets aren't the worst team, they could have to trade all 3 first-round picks to try to move up higher to get the guy that they absolutely want. So the easiest way to get the guy that you want is to be the worst team and just let your draft pick be a top 3 and go from there. I don't know how you get to a top 3 draft pick or be one of the 3 worst teams in the league with some of the moves that they've made.
They look like they're going to already be better than they were last year.
Absolutely. I mean, look, on defense,
Geno Smith playing quarterback instead of Justin Fields is 3 games better already.
Yeah. But I mean, like, their defense, now I just kind of knocked the Commanders for bringing in shitloads of new people, but they brought in a bunch of new people onto this defense, which I think is just going to elevate them a little bit. Just talent-wise, they have gotten better. David Onyemata, T'Vondre Sweat coming in there is an interesting change. David Bailey, obviously, think very highly of him as a pass rusher. You got my boy Harrison Phillips still locking down the middle there. And I'm a big fan of Jamie Sherwood, who's been there. But you got Demario Davis back, Joseph Asai, Nashawn Wright, who is a interception machine. He's not a great cornerback, but interception machine. Minka Fitzpatrick, who used to be a name of a guy that was decent. But
I hope.
But look, you got nearly the, if not the best cornerback in the draft. You might have just the best in D'Angelo Pons. He's just got to grow a little bit, but fucking love having D'Angelo Pons in there. Darrell Jackson Jr., good rotational defensive piece. I think that the defense has just gotten a lot better. And that should be your head coach's like main move, right? Like Aaron Glenn should be doing good there.
This is a team that has way more talent. I just don't know that they want to be better, so I don't know how much they're going to win.
So
I don't know that you can necessarily stop it, but I'm buying the Jets now because they will be at some point much better than they were fucking last year.
The fix might be in. It may be Darren Mogi helped orchestrate this with Aaron Glenn, but they did hire Frank Reich as their offensive coordinator. So maybe that's their plan. It's like, it doesn't matter how fucking good our defense is. If our offense doesn't score points because we got Frank Reich calling plays, we can't win. Worst case, you tie. I don't know. Like, I do think that they added some sweet pieces to that defense. Some right steps with Kenyon Sadiq and Omar Cooper and whatnot on that offense. So, yeah, I can see it. It's just, I guess I was looking more this year, not long term. But if we're talking long term, absolutely, yeah, I think the Jets are in the right direction.
Absolutely. We got David Smith, our Canadian friend, hopping in here. Hey, he's here so he doesn't get fined.
Either. How you doing, Dave? Also, big congratulations to David Smith.
Absolutely.
Big congratulations.
David Smith just recently got married to the beautiful woman who is in his profile picture that pops up there. Problem with the Jets window, he says, is it's going to happen when everybody else is ultra competitive. That's very true. Patriots getting better. We'll see if the Dolphins are getting better. The Malik Willis signing will really be the telltale there.
The other thing with the Jets window is the fact that it is the New York Jets and they like to fuck everything up, especially young quarterbacks. So that could be the fun part of it too. They could absolutely bring in the next Sam Darnold and let him get eaten up by the New York market. Like, they are the best in the league at destroying young quarterbacks. So it might not fucking matter.
It might not matter. It's very true. All right, my man, let's turn to the negative side of the show. We are going to sell some teams. Some of these teams you got to sell to make some money off of them, because that's what you do with stocks, right? Got to sell high. But some of these teams I'm selling just before the precipitous drop. I'll start with the first one. Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm fucking selling. Selling fucking hard, bro. Selling before the correction happens. I hated their offseason. Hated their draft. I don't necessarily trust Trevor Lawrence all the way yet either. Bigger issues are like all of the things going on around. They downgraded at running back. They lose Etienne, and then they bring in Rodriguez. That's a downgrade. Bashal Tutin is not going to probably step up and be their full-time back. Travis Hunter is now limited to one side of the ball. Mostly. He'll still have spot things on the offensive side, but that takes away a playmaker. That division, I think, is getting better. I expect the Titans to be better. I think the Texans are going to be fucking incredible. And the Colts were good last year. If Daniel Jones is even remotely similar to that, that team will also be good. So I don't think the Jags run over their division. They got some late wins in that division against teams that were done or injured all the shit. So I expect the Jags to take a big step back from where they were last year. I could see them not making the playoffs. So I'm selling high. And
we miss you too, Dave.
Yeah, miss you guys. I miss you for sure. We do got to talk some baseball, man. I just got a new computer. I'm going to get Discord set up on there so I can get on the Discord finally, because I'm terrible about doing that. But yeah, fuck the Jags. Selling the Jags. I know you said that you're selling Jags as well. Tell me about it, brother.
Yeah. Look, James Gladstone hooped his pants this offseason. I don't know what he was thinking. You had an ungodly bad draft. I mean, don't get me wrong. Emmanuel Pregnon, loved the player. But the rest of it, throw the whole thing out pretty much, because this draft just didn't make sense. The offseason in general didn't make a lot of sense. You allow Etienne to leave and you bring in Chris Rodriguez and Amir Abdullah, and that's supposed to somehow fix the situation. I'm not buying that at all. Like, the run game was a decent part of what they did. You let your quarterback cut his hair. And I don't know if it's real or not in this. Like, obviously people are thinking they're seeing like a wig line or whatever. I don't know if he cut his hair or not. It'd be silly if you let Trevor Lawrence cut his hair, I guess, because he just grew it out long enough where he started to get good last year at playing football.
Finally.
Which, yeah. Look, I don't think that this team got any better. I think that they had a pretty damn good year last year, getting 13 wins. But they're playing in a very difficult division. You now are playing this year with a first place schedule in a division where you have the Texans right on your fucking heels. And the Texans were one game off last year with a very, very, very bad offensive line. And now all of a sudden they got a little bit better in the running game, and their offensive line got a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And if CJ Stroud takes a step out of, this sophomore and junior slump, all of a sudden that offense is way fucking better. I don't know. It feels like the Jaguars did not do anything to get themselves better this offseason. They got worse personnel-wise overall, and you're walking into a harder schedule along with a division that is getting better while you're regressing. I don't see them getting anywhere close to the 13 wins again this year. Right now, FanDuel has them, I believe, at 9.5 wins. And if I had to select anything there, it would be for them to drop below 9.5.
I'd see 9.
Yeah, 9 is possible. But I think the regression there is going to kind of be staggering, which sucks because, Liam Cohen, while I think that he is a fucking goofball, I like what he was able to do there last year. And I definitely do like some of the coaches that he has working for them, in Grant Udinski and Heath Farwell, two former Vikings guys there. I like some of the staff that he has around there. I would like to see them succeed. I just don't think that Gladstone provided them with the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, the Jags are not going to be great in my mind. But okay, all right, brother. Let me hear one of your sell teams.
All right, this one's an easy one for me, not just because I'm an NFC North guy and a homer for my Vikings. I'm selling the Bears, man. The Chicago Bears from last year. Congratulations, you won the division, 11-6. But man, a couple of those wins, especially versus my Vikings, were gifted to you. Like one of them for sure was gifted on a very terrible kick return coverage. But the Chicago Bears turnover ratio last year is unsustainable. It's something that we've talked about. That alone is going to make their defense take a big step back. The Caleb Williams progress, he did get better last year, but it was almost that he didn't get better. He just stopped doing the things that were bad, i.e. getting fucking sacked constantly. He cut his sacks down in such a tremendous fashion that even though some of his other numbers like completion percentage actually regressed, he still looked head and shoulders better. And no doubt he has the capability to do some pretty special stuff. We saw that in the playoffs. He's able to make some magical plays, which is why he was the first overall pick. And maybe there's still a bunch more to be unlocked with him, and Ben Johnson's the guy to do it. But I just think that you're talking about a team that's going up with one of, if not the hardest schedule this year, a first place schedule. They're going to have all these games that they had last year that were one-score games that they were barely able to eke out in the fourth quarter. Like the regression to the mean, or just regression on those 50-50 chances of winning those games, is going to flip pretty fucking hard, in my opinion. I think that the Bears are stepping in the right direction, but I think that they probably had at least 6 games that I think were coin flips for them that all flipped heads last year. And I think that this year we could see half those games go to tails, and now they are a sub 500 team. I think it's well within the realm of possibility that the Bears take one of the biggest regression dumps this year in the NFC North. And that's for a team that I actually kind of liked their draft. Like I liked a lot of the players that got in the draft. I just didn't think that it focused on the areas that they really needed, like on defense. Their draft class was filled with players that I enjoyed. And I hate seeing them go to Chicago. I just don't think that they're exactly fits for what Chicago needed to continue ascending.
All right, listen, I'm going to echo a couple of the same points that we talk about stock market all the time, and there's bubbles, right? The tech bubble, the whatever bubble. We got the fucking turnover bubble with the Bears, man. And that shit's going to pop. Eventually, it's not going to work. They led the league in turnover margin, and it very rarely repeats. They also are faced with the toughest schedule in football. That doesn't bode well for a team that relied heavily on turnovers. Like I like their offseason very much like you did, but it feels like they're playing with borrowed money right now, man. I feel like there's going to be a correction. You can't, unless they have another banger year with all of the turnovers, I feel like your division is, one of the more balanced divisions in all of football. So it's not an easy road. That's 6 tough games in division, plus a first place division schedule outside of that. This is going to be a tough year. I don't think that they're a bad team. I don't think Caleb's a bad quarterback. Took big steps forward. They're going to take a big step back this year in my mind. So
yeah, I will say this with the Bears. While they do have one of the, quote unquote, tougher schedules of the year, I think that the schedule makers actually did them a solid for the most part with their schedule. Where the Bears' schedule falls apart is week 15 on. So they are, 15, 16, 17, 18 going through a bit of a grinder, where I think that is where we're going to see this team truly tank off and drop below that 500 number. You look at their schedule for the beginning of the year. And it's like almost every other week that they have relatively winnable matchups. All right. So week 1 versus the Panthers, winnable matchup. Then they go against my Vikings and the Eagles the next 2 weeks. Those are going to be tougher opponents. 1, because Vikings are divisional, and 2, the Eagles have been a pretty solid team, but we think that there might be some issues with that team in general. Then week 4, the Jets, gettable, right? This Jets team could be in tank mode. Week 5, Packers, Bears. That's obviously going to be a tough one again, divisional matchup. Then they get the Falcons, gettable matchup. Go to the Patriots, defending Super Bowl losers. Like the Patriots might take a step back, but winnable. But there's reasons why I could see that being a difficult matchup. Then you get the Seahawks, week 8, Buccaneers, Saints. Like I feel like their oscillations back and forth of how this could shake out.
Mm-hmm.
They could be close to that 500 mark, or if they start to hit the luck again, they could be a little bit above 500 until you get to week 15. You've got the Bills, the Packers again, the Lions, and my Vikings stand out the season. They're 3 of their last games, or their last 3 games, are all divisional matchups, which means that's going to be a meat grinder.
They all matter.
Yeah. Like the schedule makers, while it's a difficult schedule, they spaced it out appropriately for them where they could like not get on a bad run of a losing streak. Like sometimes you get into a losing streak and it's tough to get out of that shit. So I will say that it helps them a little bit there, but I just think again, the term of the day with the Bears is going to be regression. Like they had a lot of coin flips last year and those coin flips went their way. You can't expect that to continue to happen.
I absolutely agree, man. All right, I'm going to hit us with another team that I'm selling, and you just mentioned them. Our Canadian friend might not like to hear this if he's still in here. I'm selling on the Patriots, man. Not that I think they're going to be a bad team, but I want to sell at the climax, much like Mike Vrabel.
Hit him with the dang.
Thank you. Listen, they massively outperformed what everybody expected last year. I don't think anybody saw that coming. They have one of the tougher schedules in football.
Diana did.
Boom. Thank you. That was good. Listen, they overspent on Dobbs by a shitload. I still don't think they have a wide receiver 1. There's a shitload of noise around this team. Vrabel was not there for day 3. Day 3 of the draft was terrible. I do not think that they can repeat 14 wins Super Bowl appearance. That just, it feels like there's got to be some sort of a regression, especially with all the nonsense that is going on around that organization. So I am selling the Patriots. I'm going to make my profit, and I'm going to leave, but not my wife, because I'm not a piece of shit.
Yeah. Look, I agree. I think they are going to take a step back. If we were looking at the Patriots last year being at the bottom of their linear projection upwards, the leap that they took last year was a year or 2 down the line of where we would expect them to be. The fall back to where they should be on that linear projection just makes sense. I do think this is an ascending team. I think they are getting better despite the coach's actions off the field. I do think they have a good coaching staff. I just think that they took a 2-year leap last year, and now they have to yo-yo back to where they should be, which is probably closer to an 8 or 9 win team. So I like some of the players on the team. I like the foundational building blocks that they have. But just the off the field stuff, I don't know how you keep that out of the locker room. How it doesn't become somewhat of a distraction. So, yeah, no, I completely agree.
Like, you yell at one player, Mike, and watch them like fucking yell at Diana like that.
Yeah. I bet you that player will be cut.
100%. Player would be cut.
Unless it's Drake. But I don't think Drake May's the type of guy to do that.
No, dude, he seems like so wholesome. Him, dude, and his wife also like appears like the sweetest fucking lady on the planet, apparently. But all right, I'm sorry I have to sell the Patriots, but I am selling the Patriots, my man. What are you selling next?
The next sell and my last sell, because I was on that selling of the Jaguars as well.
Okay.
San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
All right. 49ers seem to be good to decent every single year. They also seem to have injuries every single year. Now, a whole bunch of independent reporting was done on the electrical substation. Apparently, they don't believe that it actually is causing these problems. But we know that it probably is because something smells fishy here, and it's not just the San Francisco Bay. It's fucking, this team is old. Like, they are older than people understand. You expect to bring in Mike Evans and get better at wide receiver? Mike Evans 5 years ago, yeah, but you're talking about an old guy who can't stay on the field, replacing Juwan Jennings, the one wide receiver who could stay on the field for that team. Obviously, no Ayuk. Ricky Pearsall's getting shot and hurt and shit all the fucking time, not staying on the field. You brought in Christian Kirk, average option at receiver as well, I guess, but he's probably going to tear his ACL. And I'm sorry if that happens, honestly. But Trent Williams, he's what, like 42 now or something like that?
He's old as shit, but he got a fat fucking check.
Absolutely. And you have to, because you had nothing else to take over there. But he also can't stay on the field right now. Christian McCaffrey basically stayed on the field all last year, which guess what? Means he's probably getting fucking hurt this year, unfortunately. And he's like the lifeblood of your offense because George Kittle, coming off a pretty fucking severe injury and getting towards the back end of his career. And then your quarterback, Brock Purdy, couldn't stay on the fucking field at the beginning of last year. And I think he's a solid quarterback, but he is a point guard. You need good pieces around him, and all the pieces around him are fucking old, man. Like, your scheme with Kyle Shanahan is really good. It makes the best out of what you have. But at some point in time, you got to bring in some younger guys and develop them so that way you don't have to worry about all these old dudes with injuries. And they haven't done that for 4 or 5 years now. Like, their drafting has been terrible. And you brought in another guy to help out with drafting, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, who has a track record of being dog shit with drafting. Like, the reaches. Guys like Deshaun Stribling.
Why are you so bad at this?
The Deshaun Stribling, I feel bad for the guy because I liked him. I just liked him late in the second, early in the third, not the first fucking pick of the second round. And I also don't like that your highlight coverage that you're showing him is being a punt gunner right now. Like, I feel like this team, from the management side, like John Lynch down, has a lot of question marks about their direction that they're going. And then they didn't do a whole lot this offseason to make the team better. They just kind of got it older, replaced some parts with older parts. I think that this team last year, they had 12 wins in an extremely hard NFC West. I think it'll be tough for them to sniff double-digit wins this year.
Yeah. So I also am selling 49er stock, so I will go ahead and pick up here. Their offseason was weird, and so was their draft. Now, I love Mike Evans. I've always loved Mike Evans. I'm a huge fan of Mike Evans, and I didn't hate the idea of the signing. But you did bring up a good point. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago about the fits, if Mike Evans really makes sense in what they're trying to do and what they need and the health issues. And obviously, the power substation is never, that fucking conversation is never going. As long as they are still where they are and their injury issues continue at the rate they are continuing, I'm always going to sell that story. You'll not convince me that that's not the case. They're very well coached. There's good talent there. They just can't ever fucking stay healthy, man. I think that right now, coming off of where they were last year, that people probably think that they'll be a decent team again. They haven't lost a ton. But Mike Evans is a big name in terms of names over Juwan Jennings. So I think people are probably still feel very high on the 49ers. So I feel like I can sell my 49er stock and make some money before this price drops a little bit, because they're probably going to go 7-8 wins this year. So we're 7-8-9 wins, right in that middle range.
What's the last time that this team hasn't had the injury bug that's derailed them? Like, I can't remember. And let's just say 5 years. I can't remember the last time in 5 years that the injury bug didn't derail them. There are times that they were able to get past the fact that they had a whole bunch of injuries and still make it to the playoffs and be decent. But like, if they were a full strength team or closer to full strength than they normally are, like, they're a pretty fucking good team. But that, again, we're talking about a guy, like the same guys on this team that are now much older, much more susceptible to injuries. This team is going to have injuries because every football team does. And the guys that they have on this roster are going to be more prone to injuries because of their age or their previous injury health. And that's not even bringing up the electrical substation. So I feel like, yeah, on paper, they have a good roster here. Mm-hmm. This will not be the roster that they have in week 12. And it might be over by then because of the injuries. Yeah. Also, I don't think that they got any favors in this schedule either from the NFL. Mm-hmm. One of the games in particular, my Minnesota Vikings traveled to Mexico City.
Yeah.
To play the 49ers. The 49ers got absolutely fucked on this. The Vikings don't change time zones. It's the same flight time from Minneapolis to Mexico City as it is from Minneapolis to San Fran. San Francisco has to travel 2 time zones ahead. And it's a home game for San Francisco.
And in a place where the elevation going from fucking San Francisco at sea level to goddamn, I think
7,000 something.
7,000 feet. Yeah.
Yes. Like, it's not good for the Vikings with elevation either, but it's way better than fucking sea level. So, like, they got fucked on some of these things. Like, it'll be real interesting. Plus, I'm going to love seeing Juwan Jennings and Aaron Jones walk into the Mexico City Stadium with their sombreros on. It'll be a fun game. Yeah. I digress.
All right, so I got one more team that I'm selling. And this one might be a little controversial. I'm selling the fucking Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm selling them because Jalen Hurts. Straight up. He caps their offense, in my mind. If Saquon Barkley is not on, this offense very rarely excels. We have seen Jalen Hurts do it in spurts, but I don't think that Jalen Hurts is a good teammate by reports that I have seen and read. I also don't know that he is as talented as maybe his Super Bowl MVP made him out to be. Like, they're always going to kind of be a playoff team. They're well coached. They're very, very talented, right? So right now I could sell my Eagles stock because they are still very talented. But this team has a ton of turmoil. A.J. Brown is probably getting traded. The relationship between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown is so tenuous. And I feel like that relationship is happening a lot with Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of noise around Jalen Hurts. So because of that, I'm going to take my money while I can, and I'm going to sell my Eagle stock before the bottom falls out of this thing. So they also have people that are coming up on new contracts, and like that defensive side is going to need to be replenished, especially that D line. So I'm selling my Eagle stock.
Yeah, this is a team that, I'm not going to lie, I like some of the offseason moves that they made. Obviously, getting my guy Grenard in there, I hate seeing him leave, and I think that he's pretty fucking good when he's healthy. They get Reek Woolen in on defense, albeit on a short-term deal, a one-year deal. But he's another guy that I like. They drafted dudes that I'm a fan of in Cole Wisniewski. They get 2 good offensive linemen in Michael Morris and Markel Bell. Mekhi Lemon obviously it's obviously not a one-for-one replacement for A.J. Brown. Completely different types of players. But Mekhi Lemon, if you are getting an Amon-Ra St. Brown, that schematically fits a lot with what Jalen Hurts can do. Eli Stowers at tight end, like that, you've got some pretty good pieces coming in through the draft. I do question this offensive line, even though they brought in those couple guys that we've just kind of set it and forget it with the Eagles of they're going to have a great offensive line. Mm-hmm. a huge piece of that was the development from Jeff Stoutland. He was one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL. He up and quit this year. He resigned from the team. And now they have my former offensive line coach, Chris Cooper, in there, who hasn't been known for being a developmental guy. Like, losing Stoutland is weird. There's already felt like there's some toxicity and turmoil, obviously, with that team.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me question if that plays into it a little bit. And if that offensive line isn't good, then Saquon's not going to be what Saquon can be, and things really start to fall apart there. So, yeah, I could absolutely see this team taking a step back. I think that they probably have another year of being very competitive in their division. But a couple wrong steps the wrong way. I mean, they are going to be having a Dallas team in their division this year that I think is probably going to take a decent market step forward. You have your Commanders that you just talked about as being a team that you would buy, taking a step forward. I brought up the Giants as being a team taking a step forward. That division gets a lot tougher.
I feel like the Cowboys can be a team that takes a step forward as well. I didn't buy their stock, but I feel like they could take a step forward.
Yeah. So, like, that division all of a sudden gets a lot more competitive. That could lead to a couple more losses there for the Eagles, and they go from being 11-16 to, 8-9 team, 9-8, like
9-7, or 9-8. I'm sorry, 9-8, trying to fight to get in.
Yeah, I absolutely could see it.
So, all right, my man, that was it. That was our buy and sell of team stock. I like this. It was the first time we've kind of done something in this fashion. I had a good time doing this. So, folks, let us know if you enjoyed this kind of style of breaking down these teams. And if you did, we'll try to do some more of these. But guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime you give some to me and Evo, we are forever grateful. I'm going to give Evo one last word before we get out of here, and then we'll be back with you guys next week.
All right. I'm going to keep this one local. This is pretty easy to find on even TikTok, but Google will help you. Paul Correa, former, let's call him employee of the justice system here in Cochise County, Arizona, is getting a slap on the wrist for being a fucking pedophile, a fucking scumbag pedophile piece of shit. He accepted a plea deal today for destroying evidence. The evidence was of him going into the local Target, videoing an underage girl, and then going in his car to beat off about it. Shame on the fucking court system. Shame on Cochise County. Fucking shame on Paul Correa. We'll find out in July if he gets the 2 years or not. That is possible max sentencing from his plea deal. Pretty fucking disgusting. I hope he finds a way to get hit by a car or taken out by somebody, because this world doesn't deserve scumbags like you in it.
Listen, we never root for injuries on this show, but I'll burn a fucking pedophile at the stake.
Yeah.
We can do that all day. Guys, thank you.
I don't feel morally compromised at all with any of that.
Nope, not even a little bit.
No.
But guys, thank you very much. This is a great way to end today's show. If you want, you can check me out tomorrow on ESPN Asheville in the Sportsocracy, noon to 3. But guys, with that, we are going to get out of here, and we will see you later. See you.